guys, welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see, I am back to a cute setup. I know you guys were really enjoying the car videos, which I still will be doing, but I definitely wanted to just kind of change up my background. You guys are going to be seeing just different backgrounds throughout these next couple of videos. I'm gonna just kind of shoot in different little areas just to kind of change the vibe, but I am so excited for this setup. I feel like it looks so cute. It's like really pretty and pink. I just got a little plant and a candle that I added in the back just to give it a little bit of a vibe. But yeah guys, for today's video I'm actually really excited. It's a video that I have been long overdue, that I have been telling you guys that I've been wanting to film for a very long time. Hopefully I don't start like moving around because I'm actually on a rolly chair and I just realized that I was like rolling back and forth, but I'm gonna try to stay still and get through this whole video. But if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys do probably already know that I did post a story, and September is actually suicide prevention month, and I wanted to come on here and just kind of talk about mental health. I thought it would be the perfect time right now to just kind of bring some awareness and also just talk about maybe things that you guys don't normally hear or, you know, be seen talked about on the internet. I have been very open with my whole anxiety journey for a very long time. A lot of you guys who have been following me for a while probably already know that I've always been very open about me having anxiety and just never really got into detail with how I deal with it, how I cope with it, or any of that stuff. You guys have obviously just kind of heard me just speak about it. So I wanted to just kind of do this video for you guys to let you guys know, obviously you guys are not alone, and if you guys are dealing with something like this, whether it's, you know, depression, PTSD, anxiety, like everything's all mental health, and I feel like sometimes we put it on the back burner and don't really talk about these things, and I feel like sometimes these videos are very important to just kind of share light, and the other person on the other side might really need it or understand that they're not alone. So yeah guys, if you guys are interested in this video, then just keep on watching. Before we get started, if you guys are new to my channel, hi, my name is Blanca Yvette. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before you guys head out to join the family, and if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you guys give this video a huge thumbs up. Also, don't forget to turn on your bell notifications, that way you guys can get notified every time I post a new video. So I'm gonna go on my phone and I'm gonna just answer some questions that you guys were asking. I went on Instagram and I had you guys ask me just questions that I guess you guys specifically wanted to know. I did screenshot as many as I could, so that way I could answer directly and not miss anything, because if I go in here and I just tell you guys all about like my story and stuff and kind of like how this went about, I'm never gonna get to like my points. So I want to make sure that all of your guys' questions are answered, and just kind of share with you guys just things and tips and tricks that really help me out. And I don't want this video to be like a sad video or anything like that. Like, this is something that I feel like a lot of people deal with, a lot of us deal with, and I feel like we just don't talk about it. But I just want you guys to know that it's very normal to sometimes feel the way that you're feeling, and it's just the way that we deal with certain things that will kind of help us get through these moments, because it's all mental, you know what I mean? Like, it's all just trying to get yourself in a good state of mind, and I feel like if I can teach you guys a little bit of what I do to just kind of help myself out, then I know that it could be very, very beneficial for you guys. So I went on Instagram and I had you guys ask me, I put girl talk, and if you guys wanted to just kind of ask me some things that maybe you guys have been going through, or so on and so forth. So I was actually very surprised with how many questions people were asking me, and I'm so sad that I didn't do this video before. But if you guys are new to my channel, I do have a video that I will link down below for you guys, and it's basically the time that I discovered my very first panic attack, and that moment that pretty much changed my life forever. Because after this specific incident that I talked to you guys about, I just was totally triggered by so much anxiety for the years to come. This happened back in 2013-14. I want to say 13-14, and it's now obviously 2021, so I've been dealing with it for a very long time, and I just want to make sure that you guys kind of understand where it started. So I will have a video down below for you guys to check out, and then now I will tell you guys kind of like what led to this. I did write all of like my notes down just to make sure that I kind of like hit all my points, and you guys are, I'm not all over the place with this, and then I'm gonna go in there and answer some of your guys' questions, and maybe throughout this whole conversation I will answer your guys' questions already, but we'll kind of go with there. So to start, I did do a story time for you guys, and I basically shared with you what led to my anxiety and how I experienced my very, very first panic attack. And I will link it down below for you guys so you guys can check it out and see kind of like what triggered it. And that way you guys can have a kind of better understanding. I feel like I've always been a very like anxious, naturally anxious person, and this can come from like childhood trauma, this can come from like where you live, this can come from just like traumatic experiences. Like anxiety can be triggered in very many different ways, and I feel like I've always been a very anxious person, and I feel like it all kind of comes down to how I was raised as well, because I was very like raised very fearfully, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like I grew up kind of like being scared of a lot of things in life, which I feel like now as an adult, I feel like a lot of things just kind of like trigger my anxiety. I would say like me specifically, the type of anxiety that I have very much like general anxiety, and then I have health anxiety. So health anxiety is basically like I'm a hypochondriac, so everything, every sensation in my body that I feel, whether it's like say like, you know, cuando se te mete aire en el ojo and then your eyes like twitching, like that's like pretty normal. Like, you know, it's like stress related, or like Mexicans like to say that se te metió aire, like little things like that trigger me. Like if I start feeling like, say like I grow an extra like mole or something, or like I'm feeling a pain, or I'm feeling tingling, which is very common with anxiety. A lot of those anxiety symptoms that I get trigger me more. Like they trigger my anxiety even more, because then I feel like there's something seriously wrong with me, which leads me to like going to the doctor and like having to always contact my doctor to make sure that I'm okay, having like always getting screenings done. And it's like that's something that I feel like more has affected my life. And it's crazy because a lot of people actually do not know this about me. Like I've always said like, oh, like my anxiety, or oh my god, I'm so anxious, or oh my god, that's gonna trigger my anxiety. Like I say comments like that, but I don't feel like people actually knew the extent of what my anxiety was until like recently. Even like my close friends and family, I've been more open about it, because I feel like for so long I've had to like just hide it, because I just felt like unless you have anxiety, you know, but when you have anxiety, you feel like you are the only one that's dealing with this. Like you feel like nobody gets it, like nobody understands what you're going through. You feel like it's not normal. Like you feel like you just try not to think about it, but then it's just hard to not talk about it, you know? So I've obviously am so happy that I've just talked about it a little bit more, because now people understand, and then I don't put myself in situations that's going to trigger my anxiety, you know? But as far as like that, you guys can have an idea. It's like general anxiety and then health anxiety, and then on top of that, like I just overthink everything in my life. Like I'm just always constantly in my head. I'm always constantly thinking about like the worst case scenario, and that just all kind of falls into the same category, you know? So as far as like panic attacks and anxiety, just so you guys can understand the difference, I get both. I honestly do not get panic attacks very often, and if you've experienced a panic attack before, it's probably one of the worst feelings that you could ever imagine. I can probably count with one hand how many panic attacks I've had since 2013 up until now, and they're honestly very scary. They have led me to the ER twice, and the first time was when I actually discovered that I had a panic attack for the first time, and then the second time was because I genuinely felt like I was dying. And I feel like all those things, it's like you become panic, you know? So the feeling of having anxiety, I want to explain it to you guys in a way that you guys might understand. So when you're sitting in a chair, this is like the best way that I can honestly explain something to somebody, but the feeling comes very quick. So like if you are sitting on a chair and you know when you go back and then you feel like you're gonna fall, that feeling of like your blood pressure going all the way down to your toes, and you're just kind of like, oh shit, like you got scared, and you're like, tienes como un mal presentimiento, like something bad's gonna happen. I feel that every day for no reason. Like I'll just be walking and then I just feel like this sensation of like, oh my god, like what the hell just happened. Like you get this like urge of like something bad's just happening, and then you start feeling anxious. And when you start feeling anxious, it can come across in a lot of different symptoms. Like me myself, I feel like a lot of things that I didn't realize I did started kind of coming out when people started pointing it out. But I have this weird thing where like I move my mouth a lot. Like I'm always like that, and people are always like, why does she do this weird thing with her mouth? And that's honestly just me. Like if I'm thinking about something or like I'm anxious, I'll usually do that a lot. Me biting my nails, my hands shake a lot. Like I get a lot of tremors in my hands, and like this is just so crazy, like even like talking about it and saying like exactly what happens on a day-to-day basis, because I feel like I've done such a good job at like not showing these things that probably if you're with me, you would not even know that I'm like panicking or having a panic attack or that I'm not okay. Because mind you, I have been dealing with this for so long. But just like some symptoms that I have done, so like you get very lightheaded, you feel very faint, I monitor pretty much every sensation in my body. As soon as I start feeling something's off, I'm just like, oh my god, am I okay? Like, am I gonna have a panic attack? Am I alright? Like, I'm constantly checking like myself from head to toe just to make sure that I am healthy and I'm okay and I'm not gonna pass out. Shaky hands, and then the panic attacks are basically fearing of losing control. Like, you feel like you're dying, you feel like you can't breathe, you hyperventilate, your heart's racing. You're definitely like zoned out, you question your reality, like you're just kind of like, is this really happening or is this not? So me being naturally anxious on a day-to-day basis does not affect my day-to-day life. It does get me sometimes in moods where like I don't want to do stuff, or I don't want to like leave my house, like I just want to like chill with the kids, or I just want to be like calm and stuff. Those are usually how I deal like with my day-to-day life. But then I also don't do a lot, you know, like I spend a lot of time at home and work home at work, so I feel like it's having the ability of having a routine that really just helps me out. And then on top of that, if I do experience a panic attack, which mind you I don't get often, but when I do get them, I want to give you guys a trick. So do you guys know those arrowheads? I think they're arrowheads, and that's what they're called. They're little candies. They're like the sour candies. I'll post a picture of them right now. I carry some in my purse, usually like 24/7. I've recommended this many times, but anytime that you're feeling like you're about to have a panic attack, if you eat one of those candies that is sour, it basically shocks your senses, and it shocks them into thinking that like it brings you back into like your reality. And then they have like other tricks and stuff from that I have personally learned. Like, I read a lot of books and I watch a lot of videos to just kind of like help myself understand. I feel like that's like the number one thing that helps me, is knowledge is power. Like, if I know what's happening, then I know that I have like, what I lack is control. In the moment that I feel like I'm losing control, that will usually trigger my anxiety. So as long as I'm reading and I'm like making sure that I know and I'm understanding the situation, then I'll be fine. So I feel like I've learned so much about like anxiety and panic attacks that now I've learned to tell myself like, you're okay, you're fine, and nothing's happening, you got through it the last time and you're gonna get through it this time, you know? So they definitely shock your senses. They also will say anytime that you're in the middle of a panic attack to basically out loud say like objects in your room. So like, say you're like kind of like trying to take a deep breath, you're taking a deep breath and you're like, okay, the light bulb, or oh my god, okay, you're taking a deep breath and you're like the couch, you know? So it's like naming items that you physically see, so you know that you're here and you're present. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just something that really does help if you are obviously having like an actual panic attack. But I can't really say too much about the difference in the panic and the anxiety, because I have very little experience in the panic attacks. I just know that they feel like freaking shit and they feel like the worst thing ever. And when I first experienced it, when I was about in 2013, it was kind of like something that I dealt with for a very long time, for almost a whole year and a half of my life. Like, I genuinely thought like, is this ever gonna get better? Like, am I ever going to feel normal again? It didn't feel, you know, like you meet people that have never experienced a panic attack or anxiety, and then you just think like, how does it feel to be normal? Like, to not feel like this every single day. I feel like for a long time I didn't understand what it felt like to be normal, and just know that it does get better, and it is going to change. Because although I dealt with it for like a year straight, where I was just constantly in my head and like trying to like figure out what was going on, after that year I started being okay, and I was like living life normal. Like my day-to-day life, I started kind of going out, I started, you know, hanging out with friends and so on and so forth, and the rest was just kind of dealt with. But recently, about maybe like 2-3 months ago, my anxiety got triggered to the ultimate high, and as soon as I start feeling the way that I'm feeling, I start losing a lot of weight. I know a lot of you guys have probably have asked me on Instagram like, oh my god, you've lost so much weight, like you look so skinny now. And I mean, my face, it's always been like pretty round and stuff. I've never had like a really skinny face, but my body itself, I have lost a lot of weight. I don't even remember the last time that I was in the 120s, which I'm currently in right now, and it was all genuinely stressed. Because when I get stressed and I get anxiety, I don't eat. I don't have an appetite. I get very nauseous. Food just doesn't do anything for me. I don't really have an appetite. So that's definitely a downfall of like, I always want to make sure that I keep my stress and my anxiety under control because my weight will fluctuate. You guys have seen me. If you guys have seen me for a long time, you guys already know that my weight fluctuates so much. Obviously I had babies, but I gain weight, I lose weight, I gain weight, and I lose weight, and it's because of like little episodes that kind of just happen in my life. But I can't control it. Like I can't make myself eat whenever I'm anxious. So the weight loss was definitely not unintentional. It wasn't because of anything that I was doing. It just happened because I was so stressed out for like a month straight. I was having like anxiety every single day. I had like 3 panic attacks, and it was just bad, you know, like it was not fun to experience what I experienced practically like 2 months ago. And now I'm in such a better headspace. I'm fine, I'm good. I've already learned to just kind of like separate myself. I took a break off social media for like 3 days and 3-4 days, and I didn't realize how much I needed it because I feel like I've grown up so much on social media that it's so triggering. Social media is just such a toxic place sometimes. It's such a great place, but it's such a toxic place at times, and I felt like I needed to just kind of like drift away. I was so invested in the internet that I would wake up internet, go to sleep internet, and it was just kind of like consuming me, that taking the time to take those days off made me realize that I was genuinely happy in real life. Like I was with my kids, I was with my husband, I was with my friends, and I was just so happy without having to worry about the internet, that it made me realize that I have a great life outside of the internet, but I was consuming so much of that negativity into my actual life, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but I was bringing all that like negativity into my actual life, when in reality, as soon as I turned my phone off, I was okay. I was happy. I was fine. And I feel like now I've mentally just continue to say that to myself. It's like that the whole internet stuff is just, it's like its own world, and that's not my world. Like the world I live in is my world right now. Like my actual reality is what happens on my day-to-day life, you know? So yeah, let me just jump into some questions now that I kind of like gave you guys the kind of like 411 of like what this whole thing is about and how I feel the way that I feel. So the first question is it ever going to go away, or am I just going to be an anxious person forever? I feel like you're always going to be anxious, but there's going to be ways that you're going to be able to control it to the point where it's not affecting you every single day of your life. And once you kind of get that down, only you know how to make yourself feel better, but you have to continue to just remind yourself that it's going to be okay. And I feel like I know it's so hard at that moment when something's happening, but you just have to honestly just take a deep breath and just kind of like talk about it. Like something that really helps me is anytime that I feel anxious, I'll tell Elisa. Elisa's is like the #1 like person that knows. Like anytime I'm feeling some type of way, I'm like, babe, I feel sick, or babe, I don't feel good, babe, I feel like I need to go to the emergency room, babe, this doesn't feel right. Like he has been dealing with me for so long, and I feel like anytime that I'm feeling some type of way, I always tell him to take me out on a drive. So I'll usually tell him like, hey, like let's get in the car and like let's just take a drive real quick. He'll take me through like, I don't know, some curvas, and like we'll just drive. I'll get some fresh air, we'll talk, and we'll just kind of like, I'll breathe for a couple of seconds, and that really helps my anxiety. So I feel like you're gonna start finding out. Just know that it does get better, and you're definitely not alone. I can tell you that there's probably like 9 out of 10 people dealing with anxiety with you every single day. The next question is, tell me why I'm scared to go out of town because I feel like I'm going to get an anxiety or a panic attack. So this is something that definitely I can relate to because I travel a lot. Like, I mean, obviously not right now with COVID, but I've traveled a lot, and that is something that I've always thought about. And you guys probably gonna think I'm crazy, but anytime that I'm out somewhere, I always look at like natural disasters. Like, do they get earthquakes? Do they get hurricanes? Do they get tsunamis? Like stuff like that. Like I'm always looking, because this is another thing. It's the control thing. It's the control of knowing what's happening around me that helps me kind of cope with these things. So I have to know like what I should be expecting, you know? So like if I'm going to a place where like earthquakes happen, and in my hotel room, I always have to make sure like where I know the nearest exits at. Like I need to know, I need to be like at a lower level and not a higher level. Like it's just those things that only you yourself are gonna know how to help yourself. So the traveling thing, I can 100% relate to you in that sense, because I definitely get very panicky. And I don't know if it's just a sense of like experiencing a panic attack or an anxiety attack that makes you feel nervous because you don't want it to happen in a public place. At least for me, that's how I feel. Like anytime I'm at the mall, like all I'm thinking is like, oh my god, if I start feeling sick right now and I faint, like the ambulance is gonna get called, and then like everybody's gonna be watching, and then like that's like things that kind of go through my head at the moment that it's happening. So like I usually just get myself out of the situation. Like I just will completely just leave. If I will never put myself in situations that I'm not comfortable in. And my friends already also know that, and I feel like that's why I also have such a tight and small circle around me, because I just don't like to explain certain things to people. Like, look, I'm not gonna go here because I just feel uncomfortable, you know, because now my friends now that I have around me, they know me to the T, where they know like, okay, I don't know if Blanca's gonna feel okay with that, so like let me make sure that I ask her like, hey, do you want to go here or not, because she's gonna probably be feeling anxious. And I appreciate that. Like I know it's a little annoying sometimes, like to feel like people are doing the most to try to like accommodate to you, or to try to accommodate to if you're feeling okay, but you sometimes need to surround yourself with those types of people to know that if something did happen and you did decide to like put yourself in that situation, then it's gonna be okay because you're around your circle, you know. And that's why I always feel so comfortable being around people that I'm comfortable with. So in case you guys are asking how I get myself to like be social and like go out and hang out with people, it's because I'm around comfort, you know. So yeah. So then this I have another question. It says, how can you be so social? My anxiety could never. And that's back to who you're around, who you're surrounding yourself with, who is in your life and stuff like that. Because I am comfortable with, say like me and Luis start going somewhere, like I know that he got me, like I know he's gonna take care of me, I know that I'm gonna be fine. This is why I'm never alone, this is why I'm never by myself, this is why I always have people around me. And I feel like a lot of my friends for a long time, they didn't understand why I was always like needing people like in my circle to be like around me. And it's definitely not codependency, because I even looked into that and I was like, maybe I'm like I have codependency, but it is not codependency. It's honestly just knowing that you're gonna be okay by surrounding yourself with people who are gonna take care of you. And this is why I continue to just keep my circle small, solid, and okay. They know all of my bad habits, they know all of the just shit that I deal with on a daily basis, they know when I'm not feeling okay, they take care of me, and I am forever grateful for them. So that's just something that really helps me be social, because once I'm with my friends, say like I'm in a place and I'm with my friends, I'm having a blast, I'm having a good time, because I know that I'm around people. As soon as I start meeting like other people and I'm just around like people I'm not comfortable with, or like I'm in just like an area that just makes me feel anxious, like I start panicking, and then I'll just leave. I'll just be like, okay, I gotta go. I cannot deal this. And it's not that there's just anything wrong with me. Like I feel like I've been misinterpreted a lot, where people just think like, oh, she thinks she's too good to hang around with people, or she just doesn't want to be around this person, or that's just weird that she doesn't like to be. And it's just because I don't put myself in those situations, because I know me, myself, I just don't function very well. Okay, like I just don't function very well. So I'm not going to put myself in a situation to make other people feel like I'm something that I'm not. You know, for such a long time, I've had this, like, I'm going to hide how I feel with this I don't give a fuck attitude. Like nothing phases me. Like, I'm a boss-ass bitch, you know? I mean, I am a boss-ass bitch, you know? But this whole, like, trying to pretend like I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck, I don't give a fuck became so physically and mentally draining that it's like now I just have to learn to accept me for who I am, and this is what I deal with, and this is something that's not new. And it's crazy because a lot of my siblings like were like this. Like, it's not just me. Like, my sister is the exact same way, my older sister is the exact same way. We don't really like to be around a lot of people, we don't like to socialize, we're very just with each other. So yeah, so what triggers your anxiety? So things that I try to avoid that really trigger my anxiety, that I'm learning every single day, but I feel like I've kind of learned to realize now. Large crowded places. I can only be at the mall for like a little bit of a time, like movie theaters, like places that are just very packed, fairs, conventions, like stuff like that. All that stuff gives me a lot of anxiety. I don't know if you guys remember the meet and greet that I had in Santa Ana. I believe it was Santa Ana. It was at the mall, at the Main Place Mall. I experienced a full-blown anxiety episode right before my meet and greet. And I remember I was with Karina and I was talking to her and I was telling her, like, I feel so anxious right now. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. Like, I literally told, like, there were so many people. This was the very first meet and greet where there was like 3,000 people coming to meet me, and I was like, how am I going to get through all of this? And I remember looking at Karina and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. She's like, are you okay? Like, what do you want me to do, you know? And I was like, I don't know. So the girl, for the owner, Ulaski from the mall, she came up to me, she's like, are you okay? And I was like, I think so. I was like, I just need like 5-10 minutes. So I sat down, I drank some water, I literally just let like my emotions go down. I felt like my whole body was shaking, guys. Like, I was shaking from my like places I didn't even know I could shake. Like, it was just bad. And I was like, you know what, like, I can't not do this meet and greet. Like, these girls have been waiting forever. Like, my ears were ringing. Like, it was just a lot. And I was like, you know what, I have to get through this. So I sat down and then I just did the meet and greet sitting. And I was like, because sometimes if I'm standing for a long time, if I'm having anxiety, like, I'll feel very faint. So I was like, you know what, let me just sit. So I would sit, and then when the girls would come, like, I would stand, take a picture, say hi, you know. And like, I got through it. I got through all my 3,000 girls. Like, I took pictures. Like, it was a success. It was an amazing, but people probably didn't even know that happened. But I put my good face on and I got through it, you know. But crowded places like that really trigger my anxiety. And for a long time, like, my seminars were really tough for me to do, but I always just made sure, like, I made sure that I ate, I made sure that I was drinking a lot of water, and then my team behind me, which was always like my sister, my niece, Karina, Javi, like, they were always around me. So like, they knew, like, okay, like, we're gonna give her time. Like, I'm telling you, like, they know me so well now that they really just kind of got me through the whole situation that would happen right before like my classes and stuff like that. So clubs and bars, like, they obviously always like trigger me, but if I'm drunk for some reason, like, I don't care. Like, if I'm drunk, I'm fine, which is crazy because, like, I mean, alcohol just makes you brave. Like, that's why I know that a lot of people, they go towards like drugs and stuff like that because it just makes them feel better, but it's not healthy and it's not okay. It's not a way of living, you know. So like, even now that I've been like alcohol free, I mean, I still occasionally, like, I'll try to like drink like a glass of wine, and I'll try to like drink something to just kind of like, you know, like a little mixed drink or something like that. But I get really bad stomach aches, so that's why I don't drink. But now that I haven't been drinking, I feel really good. Like, I feel just a lot better, honestly. Like, I feel healthier. I feel like I hated having like hangovers, and hangovers made me feel like crap, so then that would give me anxiety for the whole day after. So it was just unhealthy. It was an unhealthy way of living. Coffee, I cannot do any coffee of any kind. I cannot do energy drinks. I do energy bars occasionally, and those kind of get me through like the day. But like coffee and stuff, I need to do like no caffeine energy boosters, like green teas, stuff like that, because coffee, like straight coffee, will get me so jittery and so panicky and give me major headaches that I cannot do coffee. And then obviously stress, like managing my stress levels, making sure that I'm not being stressed out, because it's gonna make me, like, stress is the #1 killer in America. Like, not even in America, in the world. Like, stress is the silent killer, guys. Like, if you're somebody who's constantly being stressed out, like, it can just be so physically, emotionally draining. So it's like, try to keep your emotions to a certain level. And then the gym, you know, it's crazy because you would think that the gym would really like help me out. I find myself, whenever I'm at the gym, I get really bad anxiety, and I think it's because my heart rate goes up so much that I just don't know how to balance that out. I've been trying to like get myself to slowly go back to the gym, but it's definitely something that really just fucks with me, you know. So I'm trying to take it slow. I had a trainer for a minute, and he knows I had, like, you know, horrible episodes with him, and I told him, like, look, I just need to take a break for a couple of minutes. But this was also, I was training during like a lot of the anxiety that was happening, so I feel like I need to kind of get back to it now. And then another question, I just got into a car accident and I am now scared to drive. So that's definitely more like PTSD, but you're kind of scared because of the situation that actually happened. It's going to take you some time to kind of get through it. I had a similar situation happen to me as well, where I got in a really bad car accident when I was 18, and somebody was following me and caused me to get into a car accident. I thought that they were following me, but they were following me because they thought that I had done a hit and run and they were trying to be good civilians. I panicked, got scared, ran a red light, and got into a horrible accident. And I didn't drive for about 5 to 6 months. So just take it easy, take your time. Definitely don't be afraid to like see a therapist. I feel like therapy is so like talked down about. Like people are like, I'm not gonna go see a therapist to tell me how to like get through this, you know. But sometimes talking to people, even if it's just your inner circle or people around you, just be open up about these things, because that's the only way you're going to be able to feel better and have somebody understand you, especially being in a Latina, like in a Hispanic family. I know how hard it is sometimes, because I feel like mental health is not something that people we talk about. It's kind of like, I get over it, like, estás bien, like, you're fine, like, you're, you know, like, they don't really talk about those things. I know my mom has really bad anxiety, and she just probably doesn't even know because it was never talked about. But I'm just like her, and I see myself so much in her that I'm glad that I'm at least starting to kind of like understand it and be more open about it, because overall that's kind of what's going to get me through being able to live my day-to-day life. And I am not ashamed of it. Like, I am not ashamed to let people know how I feel and how certain things, even if people try to make like pick fun of me, like now, like they try to like throw that at me, like, oh, well, she's not gonna do this because I got anxiety. Like now people are starting to kind of like use that against me, like haters and stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like, I'm not ashamed of talking about how I genuinely feel, because sorry, my camera died. This is exactly who I am. This is what you get. I've always been 100% real with you guys about a lot of things in my life. I've been an open book, and it sucks that sometimes people like to, you know, use your weaknesses against you in that sense, where they're like now trying to pick fun of me or say something like I'm exaggerating, or like this isn't genuinely how I feel. And it's like, I wouldn't wish this feeling upon anybody, not even my worst enemy, guys. Like, I would not wish this upon anyone. And unless you know and you've experienced it firsthand, you know exactly what feeling I'm talking about. So just be nice to people, be nice to everybody around you. Like you have no idea how much a sweet message, a nice message, or just even smiling at somebody at the grocery store can go like a long way. You know, you never know what people are going through behind closed doors. Like, people need to learn how to be a lot nicer to people around. Have you ever taken medication for anxiety? What was your experience, and are you open for it? I've actually never taken medication for anxiety, and that was just a personal choice, but that's also because I am a hypochondriac, and I actually do not like to take any type of medication. Like, I hardly even take Tylenol. Like, I don't like Tylenol, Advil. Like, if I have a headache, I will get through my headache by myself. Unless I'm like in excruciating pain, I'll take a Tylenol or a Motrin. But I just don't like taking medicine. When I go to the doctor, I ask 100 million questions about why they're putting like, why they're like putting medicine through my IV or stuff like that. Like, whenever I do go to the doctor, when I was pregnant, I had to get like the Rogam shot, like the flu shot, like all those things. Really, like, I question a lot. And if you guys are wondering, yes, I am vaccinated, in case you guys are gonna question that. But it did take me a lot longer than like the average person to make that decision, and that was just because of me and my anxiety. And this was a personal choice, so nobody please come at me in the comments saying why did I do it, because I personally chose to do it for myself. So please keep your opinions, and don't trigger my anxiety by telling me that something's gonna happen to me, okay? So but this is something that I do a lot. Like, I don't take birth control. I've been very open about me not wanting to take birth control. I've always just not questioned medicine, but I just get scared that I'm gonna get a reaction, or that my body's not gonna react to a certain way. And that's just me, because I'm just a hypochondriac. I'm like, well, what if I take an antibiotic and like this happens? I get a lot of UTIs, and I always request the same antibiotic, because I want to make sure that it's the same one that I've taken previously and that I know I'm not going to get a reaction to. But that's just literally my life. Like, that's just me every single day, that I don't like to take medicine. So when I first started having anxiety, and I went to the doctor for it, they told me that there was medication that I could take, and I said that I didn't want to do that, that I would just kind of deal with this on my own. And I've been okay, thankfully, thank God. For now, I've been fine without needing medication. I am not against it, though. I definitely feel like if you are at the point with your anxiety where you genuinely feel like it's affecting your day-to-day life, and you cannot function anymore, and you just cannot be yourself, then I would definitely feel like you should talk to a doctor and see if those are the options for you. I myself, I feel like you guys should definitely try as much as you can to stay away from medication until you genuinely just can't anymore, because you want to be able to just feel what you're feeling as well and learn how to deal with them. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but I know that a lot of the times your body becomes very dependent of these things, and this is with any drug. Your body can become very dependent of it, and that's when you just feel like you're only functioning because you're taking the medicine. So it's like, try to just get through it, and if you genuinely can, then of course do what you have to do. But I just feel like you should try to just find a solution, you know. And I'm telling you, this is with every medicine. Like, even when I got my wisdom teeth pulled out and they gave me Vicodin, and I was like, I'm not about to get addicted to Vicodin, you know. Like, I just feel like that's always kind of been me. But no, I have not taken any medicine. I just kind of deal with it the way that I possibly can. As someone who has anxiety, there's something is there something that someone can do to comfort you? Honestly, the worst thing you can do to somebody that has anxiety is tell them to get over it, or you're fine, stop thinking about it, it's all in your head. Like, those are things that you should definitely not tell somebody if they have anxiety. If you have a friend, or you yourself are trying to explain this to like your significant other or your friends around you to help you understand, just generally be open with them and let them know what works for you. I feel like just telling someone that everything is going to be okay, that you're present, you're here, just like reassurance. I feel like people with anxiety just need reassurance that everything is going to be okay. That's like the number one thing that just really helps. Definitely don't tell people that it's all in their head, because that's like the worst thing you can tell somebody. How do you mom when your anxiety is at its worst? Honestly, thank God for my husband. And obviously, anytime that I also have Yvette with me, if I'm genuinely feeling like some type of way, like, I'll be like, look, like, can you just watch Max and Camila for a little bit and like let me just kind of get my thoughts together. I feel like I can get myself in and out of like my thoughts very easily. So now I'm in a stage where I'm glad that I can openly talk to you guys about these things, because I'm definitely in a place where I have good control over what's happening. But for the most part, it doesn't affect me like being a mom or anything like that. If anything, I feel like it distracts me and it keeps me busy. It keeps me just kind of like chilling and giving me something else to worry about. Now that I have kids, I just kind of worry more about them than I do myself now. But yeah, Ulises is a big help. He knows me. Like I said, we've been dealing with me having anxiety since we were boyfriend and girlfriend, then when we got married, and then now as a mom. So it's like, it's nothing that he's not used to. I just tell him like, babe, can you give me like an hour and just let me get my life together? And he's like, yes, like, you're fine, like, just breathe, you know. Or we'll put the kids to sleep. Usually like when I'm home, it's already like nighttime. I just play with them for a little bit, and then they go to bed early. They're out by 8, so from like 8 to like 11, like, it's just like me relaxing time. Like, okay, I can breathe, I can like take a moment to myself and just kind of like chill, you know. The next one is, do you think the word anxiety became a trendy word? I feel like it's not a trendy word. I just feel like people just don't know. Just like with OCD, like, I feel like I'm always like, oh my God, it's triggering my OCD, because I'm a perfectionist and I like to have things very organized, but that is not OCD. Like, having OCD is very, very, very serious, and it's something that affects people like on their day-to-day life. So I feel like it's not that it's trendy, it's just that we've just learned how to just splurge it out like nothing. Same thing with anxiety. Like, everybody's just like, oh my God, I'm so anxious. Like, it's just something that naturally became such a easy word to use. Or like, I'm sad, oh my God, I'm depressed, you know. Like, we need to be very more mindful about those specific words, but also understand that I'm sure these people mean no harm. Like, they're not doing this to purposely just like trigger people, you know. Next one, do you get anxiety attacks? If so, okay, that's another one. I have another one that says, how do you hide it? And I feel like I don't know how I hide it, to be honest with you. I just feel like I just don't put myself in those situations, and I just kind of like anytime that I'm not feeling okay, like, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, and then like I'll be in the restroom for a little bit and I just kind of get my life together. Or like, okay, I'm gonna go over here real quick, and I just kind of like get my life together, and then I'm back. But say if like I'm out in public, I will leave. Like, I will genuinely leave. Like, I won't continue to trigger myself and put myself in situations that I don't want to be in. Like, if I'm at the club and I feel uncomfortable and I'm like, okay, so I'm getting really bad vibes right now, especially with like everything happening in the world, like, it just makes it so much worse. COVID made my anxiety so much worse. Like hearing about shootings happening like makes my anxiety so much worse. Like, this is just normal day-to-day anxiety though. This is something that we deal with every day, you know. But people who already have anxiety are just like feeling that much worse, especially with COVID. I'm a hypochondriac, so it's like every day I'm already feeling like you know, and we haven't caught COVID, like thankfully, like thank God, but I also don't go anywhere. It's like I don't even live my life. Like I'm just like what do I do? What do I do? How do I feel better? Because it's just I'm in my house like all day trying to make sure, and like I go out to dinner and I like that's like my fun time. Dinner's my fun time. I go out and then I'm already like, oh my god, did I like touch anything? Am I out? Like I go to Target and I'm like, oh my god, like I feel like we all can relate to this though. Like this isn't just people with anxiety, like this is literally all of us. We live in a fear. So now this feeling that you guys are feeling, this is what we feel every day for no reason, you know, like no COVID, no nothing. Like this is just us on our daily life every day. But I feel like I just honestly have gotten such a good, I've been dealing with this for such a long time that now I've learned what helps me, and you wouldn't even know. Honestly, the only reason you guys are knowing now is because I've been open about it and I'm sharing with you guys why I feel what I feel. But other than that, the normal person meeting me for the first time, they probably wouldn't suspect a thing. They probably would just be like, she's so fun, like she's just always laughing and, you know, like having a good time, you know, and like they probably wouldn't even understand half of the shit that like I'm thinking at that moment. I'm over there like fucking contemplating my whole ass life. But do you ever get tingling, numbing, or show any physical signs of anxiety? Yes, all the time. I get my left arm, my hands, they like get tingling sensations. They get numb. My legs, they feel like I can't keep my balance sometimes. Like I get very faint. I feel my ears ring a lot. I hope I don't miss anything. Like honestly, physical symptoms are a real thing. They're a real thing, and this is why you start questioning if you're okay, because you physically start showing these symptoms. But you are healthy. You're a healthy person. You're a healthy human being. It's just your anxiety just fucking with you and making you think otherwise, because we're constantly monitoring every single sensation in our body. But all those things are very normal. Like feeling like that. Obviously, if you're actually physically fainting and stuff, like please go see a doctor. Like I feel like no matter what, still go see a doctor and make sure that you're fine. And then once you know you're fine, then just understand that this is just kind of happening because it's your anxiety just going out of whack, you know. Has your anxiety gotten worse? Why did you decide to be more open about it now? My anxiety has not gotten worse. I feel like I go through episodes obviously, but I just feel like in a time like today and a time like we live in nowadays with especially social media, I've been seeing it happen a lot with like a lot of the younger generation, a lot of like my nieces and nephews, and just like how social media has just impacted their lives. And I just see it so much. Like I see so many sad kids on the internet, and like you read and you see all these things that are just kind of happening, that I feel like if there's a little tiny hope of like me being open about a certain situation that maybe people can relate to, then at least I know I'm doing something right. Like I'm helping someone and I'm helping them get through this. And I'm saying this because when I was actually going through like my very, very first panic attack in 2013, I was actually watching Kathleen Lights, and I have actually not watched her in a very long time, but in the beginning, like she was like one of my favorite YouTubers to watch, aside from Nicole Guerrero. But she was somebody that I really like to watch, and she was very open about her anxiety. And this was around the time that I just discovered it and what it was doing to me, and I genuinely feel like she helped me kind of get through a lot of those emotions that I was dealing with in the beginning, where I didn't understand and I thought I was crazy. And she really got me through like understanding, as well as my brother-in-law, because my brother-in-law actually has really bad anxiety, and he also helped me kind of just like understand that this was normal. Not necessarily normal, but it's because it's your new normal. It's like your new normal life. Like once you've experienced some type of trauma in your life that gets you to the point of anxiety, it becomes your new normal, and you just kind of have to learn to accept it and deal with it. So when I would watch her, she would definitely ease my mind a lot. So I feel like it took me a long time, but if I now could be that person to somebody else, that makes me feel like I'm doing something good and I'm accomplishing something and understanding. Like you guys already know, like I share everything. I'm like the big sister you guys never knew you guys needed. Like I am here for you guys. Like I am here to give you guys my advice. I'm here to teach you guys and help you guys hopefully learn from my mistakes and learn from things that have happened to me in my life, and just help be a little bit relatable to you guys to understand that not everything is just fun and free and happy, and like this is life, you know, this is normal life that we all kind of deal with, and that's okay, you know, like we just kind of all have to just be here for each other and just be nice to people, and hopefully the rest would just kind of fall into place. But I hope I answered like your guys' questions, and I answered like for the most part kind of what I've dealt with. And if you guys have more questions, I definitely feel like this video deserves a part 2 of just kind of like getting more into ease of how to get through this. I didn't want my video to be like an hour long, but I'm trying to keep it just short and to the point. But I talk a lot because I like to let you guys feel like you guys are here with me. But yeah, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video and you guys do want a part 2 with the questions that still weren't answered, let me know down below. If you guys have anything you guys want to share with me, if you guys are feeling some type of way, just let me know down below. Send me a DM if you guys want as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am gonna list some links down below, as well as a hotline for you guys, for any of you guys who may be feeling like you guys just need some type of someone to talk to or reassurance or anything, just because September is a very obviously special month, and a month that we should all kind of bring some more awareness to. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video. Love you guys.